Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Marcus Meets, our Facebook Live offering from Blue Sky Fostering. Today, I have the real privilege of meeting my manager and the recruitment director, Sarah Rockett. Hello, Sarah. How are you?
Hi, morning, Marcus.
Yeah. How are you finding lockdown and self-isolation, Sarah?
Okay. If I'm honest, I'm getting a little restless.
Okay.
But that's just my personality. A little bit bored, but
Yeah.
no, it's fine, and it needs must.
Oh, it's lovely that you've come on to my Marcus Meets today, Sarah. So thank you very much. And really, what I'll say to any members of the public, over the last few days, there's been a lot of confusion from the government around should we stay at home? Shouldn't we stay at home? Should we meet friends? Can we meet friends? Can we meet family? I think today we want to deliver a simple message in this foster care fortnight. Agencies like Blue Sky, more than ever, nothing's changed. Very simply, we are looking for foster carers. So the numbers along the bottom, anybody that's watching us today, and also feel free to ask any questions and I can then ask them to Sarah. But please do call that number across the bottom of the screen. So it's business as usual, Sarah, isn't it? With Blue Sky Fostering and our recruitment of foster carers.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've that's been our message really right from the beginning of lockdown. Business as usual. We're working really creatively with technology, using lots of video calling, WhatsApp, FaceTiming. All our fostering assessments are continuing, as is our training. So yeah, we're working hard to make sure that it's all smooth and calm.
Oh, fantastic! And we've got hello, Fern. You just popped into our screen. So lovely that you're watching, Fern. Hello.
Hi, Fern.
So I'm sure Fern and many others, including foster carers that are with us, indeed people that are considering fostering with us today, Sarah, they want to know a little bit about you. So can you sort of give your journey and story? How long have you been with Blue Sky, Sarah?
So I've been with Blue Sky since we began in 2005, so 15 years ago.
Fantastic. What was your background before then, Sarah? What were you doing before then?
So yeah, before I moved to Blue Sky, I was a local authority social worker and worked with children and families in Poole and Bournemouth.
So you pretty much all your life, your working life, you worked in social care.
Yeah, all the way through from the age of 18.
Wow. Okay. So very experienced. Fantastic. So Sarah, in terms of being a recruitment director, what do you think makes a good foster care? I know Foster Care Fortnight, this is this big push really for people, members of the public, to think actually can they make a foster carer? So what makes a good foster carer for you, Sarah, in that recruitment process?
Yes, it's a really big question, Marcus. I passionately believe that there is no such thing as the kind of stereotypical foster carer. For me, it's all about people's skills, people's qualities, people's personality traits. We really need people who are kind, patient, resilient is such an important quality. We need people who are able to understand children's behaviors, and interestingly, we really want people who like children, and I know that sounds a bit daft, but I think it's a really important quality to actually like children and want to make a difference to their lives. We need people who have a good sense of humor, who perhaps don't take themselves that seriously, and are willing to open their homes to some really quite challenging young people. But that's who we need, really.
And what would you say if somebody's watching now and, how do I put this, maybe had a colourful background, was a little bit unsure, bit of a jack the lad, I guess, and they're listening to us today and thinking, well, will I make the cut? So what's your message to them, Sarah?
Yeah, and I have to say we hear about this an awful lot. For me, actually, people who are honest about their past, who tell us that they have something on their criminal record, from their background, perhaps when they were a young person, we can deal with that. Of course, if it's any kind of offences against children, young people, then that's an absolute no-no. But somebody who perhaps when they were 17 stole a car or got in with the wrong type of gang and made some mistakes, fell off the path, so to speak, those often are the people who make really good foster carers, because they understand the fragility of life. They get how easy it is to be influenced by your peers and to do some crime that yes, of course you'll regret when you're 40, but please tell us about it. That's all we ask. We just ask people to be honest.
I think they can be very empathetic, can't they, with the look after children in terms of what they've been through, and they may have been, had a similar path, but it took a different route than our look after children. So,
Yeah.
So in terms of, what makes a good foster carer, you've come up with some great sort of suggestions there in terms of that sort of empathetic role. Now, Foster Care Fortnight, again, are pushing this. What is a typical foster child? What does a typical foster child look like, Sarah? Could you answer that as part of this kind of debate in Marcus Meets? What is a foster child?
You know what I'm going to say, Marcus.
But the
what am
members
I
of
going
the
to say?
public in their throngs want to know, Sarah.
Yeah, no, I guess there is no such thing as a stereotypical foster child. All young people who come into the care system have experienced some kind of disappointment. They've been let down. They'll have experienced some kind of trauma within their home, poor parenting. Sometimes children come into care and they may stay in care until they're 21. Other times children may come into care and only stay 6 weeks or less. So really, we need foster carers who are able to be flexible and are able to see that not every single child is the same, that they all come from various differing backgrounds and parenting experiences. And we need people to kind of understand that and what that means for that child who will then come and live in your home. The impact of that, it's and I guess I always say to people, you're not fostering on your own. You foster with us. We hold your hand all the way through. We work hard to ensure the support that we give you is exactly what you need. That's the stuff that brings about changes. But really what we're looking specifically for carers who are wanting to look after teenagers, maybe parent and child placements, sibling groups. I think that those are the people who we'd really like to come forward.
And sort of prospective carers watching today, Sarah, can you touch on some of the behaviours that they may encounter that they're thinking, well, can I do this job? How am I going to manage these behaviours? What are some of those, Sarah, that typically you'll see with children in care?
Yeah, and I think, for me, it's about that often children who come into care are sad. They could be very withdrawn. They might be very angry. They might be quite physically challenging, verbally challenging. They might have experienced some kind of sexual exploitation, neglect from their own parents. So yeah, we that's why we need people who are resilient and tenacious, because some of those behaviors are challenging and will you need training and support to understand what that's about. It's not about you. It's not that they don't like you. It's often about those early experiences that have shaped their trust in adults.
And I would say, you're touching on the support that we give our carers. Again, if any single carers are watching this broadcast, please don't think you can't do the job. As Sarah discussed, really, we will handhold you throughout the whole process. It will feel like you're in a relationship, Sarah, like you're married to Blue Sky, really, won't it? So
and I often say to people, that for the duration of their assessment, they will eat, sleep, and breathe fostering. You read about it, you'll talk about it, you'll have training. It will feel like that, but you're entering into a family and a community where you'll be working and spending time with like-minded people who understand those challenges, and that kind of support is invaluable.
And I think I'm sensing with the pandemic and these sort of unusual times really for us, what is the new normal? If anybody's watching today and they're tentative to take those next steps because of what's going on, in front of them, what message could you deliver in terms of, what does the assessment process look like now with the coronavirus there? How has it changed than it was, 3-4 months ago? Could you explain to anybody watching today and those in assessment?
Yeah, so we've had to be really creative about trying to ensuring that the assessment process continues as much as normal as possible. The one thing we can't do currently is come and visit you at home, but we can offer you some kind of a phone call or FaceTime for our home visits. And then once people make that application, our independent assessors who will be writing the fostering assessment, they will use video calling to do their sessions, set you lots of homework. All your training will be done online instead of face to face. And really, we anticipate that the assessment process will be a little bit elongated, but hopefully no longer than kind of 8 to 10 months. depending on your situation and you know the complexities involved, but generally it will be about 8 to 10 months.
So what we're telling anybody watching today is, I know the message we reinforce all the time, it really is business as usual. More than any other time I can remember, and I've been working with the agency for 14 years, more than ever, we need foster carers, don't we, Sarah? You know, today, in the coronavirus, you know, there's a lot of circumstances where families sadly are at breaking point because they're in lockdown and more children are coming into care. So therefore, please don't hold off if you're considering coming on board with us. Don't think, well, you know, can the assessment process start? From what Sarah's saying, absolutely. Starts in earnest. We've adapted to the needs, haven't we, Sarah, in terms of technology? So, you know, please, you know, give that number a call and you get to speak to me. Who wouldn't want to speak to me, Sarah, really? And we can have a natter, you know, from, as I said, from many walks of life, we can have a good chat about what we think going forward to become a foster carer. But more sort of personally, Sarah, about you, what would you consider over all those years you worked at the agency is your proudest moment? I'm sure there's many, but can you isolate one or two of your proudest moments?
Yeah, I think so. One of my standout proudest moments was when we made our first placement. So I started in the August of 2005 when we had our office in Ringwood, small office. You remember that, Marcus?
Sure, yeah.
You know, and there was 4 or 5 of us and a filing cabinet. With no foster carers in, so we literally kind of started from scratch and waited for our first inquiry, and then off we went. So yeah, we made our first placement in Poole in November or December, I think it was, of 2005, and it was a young mum and her baby, and they did really well. And yeah, that was a really proud moment. That was like the moment at which we thought, yeah, this is happening, this is real, we're now on a journey that will change people's lives. And you know, I know that parent and child, mum and baby, are, you know, the baby is now what, 15, and well, no longer a baby. I know, how scary is that? And yeah, and both mum and her daughter are living independently in the community and living very successful lives. So yeah, that was a huge proud moment.
What was your role, Sarah, within the agency then? Were you a social worker? Did you know, what is that, how that came about? You saw that placement in, did you? Did you make that match?
I was a social worker within that locality. So yeah, it was a great moment.
Fantastic. And I remember when I started, you know, as an agency, we worked with 3 or 4 local authorities, didn't we, Sarah? And now we've expanded to work with, you know, more than 30. But again, if anyone's thinking, wow, you know, Blue Sky, this big organisation, we do have 10, you know, unique local offices across the whole of the south of England. So, you know, you'll feel like it's still a family feel from day one, wasn't it, Sarah, when we felt cocooned in this family and looked after. It hasn't changed at all. Even though we've expanded and we've worked with more local authorities, we've got more offices that, you know, that can accommodate those carers and so on. So and I just see, hello Sarah, she's saying good morning to us. Sarah, if you have any questions you'd like to ask your namesake Sarah, please type that in and I'll ask Sarah. And again, any other carers, prospective carers that are watching this debate, please give that number a call along the bottom, 0800 035 6499. Give that a call. I will call you back and we'll have a natter about fostering. Sarah, I think this is the final question really. So what would you say to anyone that wants to become a foster carer? They're watching now. Any words of wisdom, pearls of wisdom that you can give them, Sarah?
I think I would say, don't ever believe that you can't do it. I think there's a lot of people out there who think that you have to be like a superhero to be a foster carer, or like some kind of Uber parent. That is not what we're looking for. We are looking for people who just want to kind of make a difference to a child's life, who are open and willing to learning, to be reflective, to understand themselves, to be willing to open up their homes and their hearts really to look after children. Because I know that a lot of people think I can't be a foster carer because I rent my house, or I can't be a foster carer because I'm divorced, or I'm single, or I've never had children, or, you know, there are many reasons why people believe that they can't do it. So, you know, my advice would be yes, you can do it. And to give us a ring and to begin that process. Really, don't believe that you can't is what I would say.
Lovely, Sarah. Sadly, we've come to the end then, Sarah. Is there anything else you'd like to add to this Marcus Meet?
No, it's been very enjoyable. I've really enjoyed it. It's been good, and yeah, you know, Marcus, you do a cracking job. So you know,
Thank you very
that's
much. I
people
didn't
people
expect
who
that.
no, but people who talk to you say that, you know, what you say to them is life changing, and often, you know, really sparks that fire of enthusiasm, and they want to do more. So, you know, give Marcus a ring is what I would say.
Give me a call. And what I will say, you know, the fostering fortnight is this week and next week. So next week, at the same time on Wednesday, 11 o'clock, if anybody wants to tune in again, Marcus meets Ed Thompson. So Ed is our training and participation manager. He's going to give a different take on his role within the agency and how important it is in terms of the training, but also engaging with our young people in terms of the participation element and working with those children. More than just fostering, isn't it, Sarah, as an agency? So
Yes.
next Wednesday. But, you know, personally, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule, Sarah, to have a chat with me.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's been great.
Thank you, everybody, Sarah, Fern, all the other carers that have been listening today. Please tune in next Wednesday at 11 o'clock and we'll have another Marcus Meet. So thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Have a good
Bye-bye.
day.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.